Welcome back for another duck calling tutorial, and today we're going to be talking about the hail call. The infamous hail call. We hear this a lot as duck hunters because we all think at a public marsh we have to highball at every bird. But this call, in my own personal opinion, it is definitely overused, but it does have a purpose and it works. I know that a lot of people say that hail calling as a competition caller is completely different than hail calling as a duck hunter, and I completely agree with that, but you can take the techniques that competition callers use and put them to your advantage. Because if you're calling at ducks that are really far away, you want that competition style duck calling hail call because it's going to get loud and way out there and just to get the attention. You just want to make as much noise as possible to get those ducks that are way out there to notice you. They're only going to hear bits and pieces of it flying past their ears because they're up there, way up in the stratosphere, having a grand old time flying south and avoiding duck hunters. But as duck hunters, we want to get their attention to have them come into the decoys and make them think that this is where they want to be. And the hail call is the best way to get their attention. So to do the hail call, you need to master the quack and the greeting call and the comeback call, and you need to figure out how to get loud with your call. Most every call has a breaking point to where it will hit the wavelength, and I think that is probably the best way to do the hail calls when you hit that wavelength. In my own mind, hail calls are more of that thing that's kind of in your back pocket. Most of the time I'm going to be using a greeting call, but there's certain situations where the hail call does come in handy. So here's a little soundbite of what a hail call is. So there you have it. I'm having a hard time doing it today. I'm pretty out of practice. It's like late March, so I haven't touched a duck call since duck season ended in January. So I'm a little bit out of practice, but still, a hail call will require a lot of breath, a lot of air, and a lot of practice. In the back of the call, the hail call sounds like this. You're gonna just basically be doing the same concept as the greeting call, but louder and really drawn out, because you're just wanting to get the attention of the ducks. You just want them to hear bits and pieces of it because they're only gonna hear bits and pieces of it. But you want to make it so then you get noticed. Now, a duck definitely does not sound like this. Definitely not. But when a duck is flying way out there, they can't hear the difference between that and this. So, take advantage of that. When the ducks are out there, hit them with that call. I would say to stay away from using this call too much, because it is oftentimes used way too often in public marshes and public hunting areas, and the ducks tend to just start to ignore it. Don't get me wrong, it works a lot of the time, especially early in the season when the birds are pretty call friendly and they like calling. It's an awesome call to use. Later on in the season, cut back on it, really just kind of hit those greeting calls and just kind of make them a little bit more ducky and less come over here kind of. You want to be less aggressive later on in the season, so this is probably not the best late season call to use. Earlier on in the season, go for it. I hope you guys learned something about how to do a hail call today. It's definitely a good call to use, but in certain applications. If you want to pick up a hat like mine, go over to MallyWackerOutfitters.com and pick one up. We got hats, hoodies, shirts, decals, you name it, it's over there. Pick one up and support this YouTube channel. You can follow me on my Snapchat, which is KS Fisherman. I've also got a Twitter and an Instagram. My Twitter is KS_Fisherman, and my Instagram is Kansas_Fisherman. I hope you enjoyed this series of duck calling. If I missed anything or you want another instructional video on something else, leave it in the comments and I will get to it. That is all I've got for you on duck calling as of now. I hope you enjoyed this series. Stay tuned, because there's more waterfowl content coming out.